It seems like they love this evil stuff. So I would go find the most evil and then gird myself up and then understand what it is that they're doing at their most core fundamentals. And that's why I say it's the OTO, it's the Golden Dawn, because what they did is they made the spiritual arm of Freemasonry, they turned it over to that. Because of course, when they bought Jack Parsons over, they were interested in birthing a Moonchild. So what are they telling you? They needed to create an entity that could control the ark.
You call it a Moonchild. That's interesting, right?
Yeah, but
there,
remember, that's the experiment. You can Google it.
Crazy.
Jack Parsons and Aleister Crowley and all of them were doing the occult ritual, and they kept trying to bring this baby in. But what are they doing? What are they doing, Sanchez, since we just talked about what the oracles was doing? They trying to do the oracle. But remember, so this is the book Alien Wombs and Spirits. Okay, so a look by Janice Bodie inside of the matriarchal tribe of the Sudanese czars, okay, and their relationship with the Zayran and the relationship of the Zayran and disease, because the queen was interested in understanding, was disease really demons? And so she sent these very, very, very intelligent white women. And because the Africans was loving white women at that point, they just let her write in, and she blended in and she wrote everything, and she broke down how it all was working with the women and when you read that now as a modern day man, I can definitely tell your modern day man will have a problem inside that matriarchal society, because he would not get anywhere near the kind of credibility or anything that he has in notoriety now. So I can actually still see why there would be what they even called what did they used to call it? It basically means like a break off, like a breakaway culture, meaning like that's why you had that masculine side that was always, there scheming and trying to figure out how it was going to take over everything, because the matriarchal system is like, it's very, very like, it never changes. It's one strand DNA type stuff. Like, it's very ritualistic, because in the ritual, when you do any ritual, the goal is to basically bring you back into the same space and energy where the ritual is being conducted right now. So when the ritual is being conducted, like say in the original pyramid, whatever, they did the ritual they did all the time. So it was somebody's job until you die to carry out the ritual. Then after time, the ritual will be like a pipeline through time. And then when somebody else does the ritual, it's like they're in the room and shit.
It's like a damn near, it's its own connection point between all of the times. Because
Yes, because just like, man, I just had to jump on that, because it's almost like the tubes that we're building to these next spaces in time, they start to like fade away. Right? Like, so we build it and you can travel down it as long as the sound tube, like a ritual, and they be always on sound, right? It's always about sound. So they sending these sound tubes out, and then these sound tubes are as long as somebody keeps doing that, the pipes will stay open. There will always be a gateway. So we understand, just to get to the finalization of the narrative of the technology, is we understand that the Moonchild was also another code for opening up the gateway, which supposedly over in Loch Ness, that was where they conducted the ritual for the Moonchild and the Loch Ness. But at the end of the day, people are like, yo, what are you doing? You see what I mean? I got to look at it from that level, like, because then what you can imagine happened, because you can only look when you back there with popcorn, you can only imagine what's about to happen. They're about to go and do an unclean ritual with the knowledge of Awas, using the practices and the principles of the oracle of evoking the moon. Look what God hath wrought, meaning that as a supreme being, look what we brought upon ourselves. Because not only, again, we're living in now 2022. So if we were living then and I was explaining it, this would be something we would be yet to see. Now that we're in 2022, we can see what the result was. So they created Hollywood. We know that Aleister Crowley was the most influential person in the conduction of Hollywood. We know Phantasmagoria also moved in, which was how to bring entities bring them into the person's environment from these cathode ray tubes, etc. We know that they took the Prussian system and they actually brought it into the school system, which is the DDOA. Like you could type that in, the DDOA, which was, the disclosure that this thick about exactly how the school system is wired together, and how what they did is they for sure took the model coming out of Prussia, where when the Prussian men were sent to war, they mutinied and they just left. And then they acclimated that as being why some of the czars fell. And so they decided at that point they would no longer not focus very directly on training the child from a certain period of age to create the man, right? Which is what we heard about. But then again, so people don't build because remember, this has been a building process. It's been a working in progress. If they knew everything already, they would have already deployed it. So they needed others to build it for them. And that's why we were secularized inside of different institutions, and our consciousness and our intelligence was harnessed in order to be able to put the rest of the dots together of how it works and what to create. And so if we're looking into the society now, we can see the society has begun to erect somewhat of a technocratic megastructure of different types of technologies that actually do things that are not necessarily in the narrative right now, meaning people don't really understand completely what this technology is really used for, but we understand what would be the end game if it's in the wrong hands. What would it be? It would be that they could control your dream.
Hey, do you think they may have already? You think we may be there now?
Unfortunately, with just this. Okay, so what I feel like is that when they started with the harp. Now, first of all, to do this is I would have to reverse engineer this. Can I do this, right? And the answer is yes. That with a Fanatron tube, and this is just again like let's see what aspect of this we want to come at. So technically, I'm just saying in a nutshell that being able to put yourself into a high vibration environment so that if you did pass into sleep, that your dream would be high vibratory, that is 100% possible and done. However, high vibratory burns energy. So even when you're in the body, when you're outside of the body, quote unquote, the body is like, it's still connected to the body. So it's burning fuel from the body. And this is why a lot of the body is like a candle. That's why it's a lamp. Because how much like fuel is inside the body still governs how far and how powerful the spirit is.